Hello, my name is Danna. I'm sitting here with Ms. Kenny. The date is May 24th, 2019, and we are recording this interview in Holy Trinity High School in Chicago, Illinois. Hi Ms. Kenny, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Danna?
I'm doing well.
Good.
What were you like in high school?
Wow. What was I like in high school? I was pretty much a nerd. I hung out with the theater kids, the honors student kids, the band kids, although I wasn't in the band. I liked the band. I hung out with those guys. I'm pretty much an introvert. I was not much a party person, but I liked hanging out with, my people, my friends. I'd hang out with them. I was in honors classes. I had a lot of school work to do. Not very different from how I am now, sadly.
Did you ever take any AP classes?
I did. I took AP US History. I took AP Calc. Did I take AP English? I must have taken AP English too. Yeah.
So when did you realize that you were obsessed with math?
Ouch. It wasn't so much, it wasn't so much, it wasn't a revelation to me that I was good at math. It was a revelation to me that it didn't make as much sense to everybody else. It's like, what? Wait, don't you get? Oh no, that's perfectly logical. How do you not? Really? That doesn't make sense to you? Junior year in math class, our teacher would, do a lecture at the beginning and then give us time to work. And a line would format my desk for me to explain things to my classmates. They would just, kind of pull up and get in line and ask me to, like, okay, so they don't get this, I do get this, and they like when I explain it. Maybe I can do something with that. So that's how I got to be here.
Have you always wanted to become a teacher?
Sort of. Maybe not as a job, but I always liked explaining things. I would, I played school when I was little, and, I imagined how I would explain things. Oh, it's a horrible, horrible story. But I went to college and I didn't study education. I studied math. I thought, well, let's see how far I can take this. Let's see how much I know, how much I can learn. And I ended up going to grad school, and my intent was to get a PhD and become a professor, which didn't pan out. But I always liked, professors have to balance the teaching side of things with independent research. Believe it or not, math has not all been discovered yet, and there's math to be researched out there. But I liked the teaching part more. And then when I didn't get a PhD, I got a master's degree and then quit to raise a family. But I still liked the teaching part, and I ended up helping my kids with their math. And then they would turn around and go back and explain to their classmates, things that didn't make sense from their teacher. But then they would ask me, and I would explain it, and then they would teach their class. And one day my son said, "Mom, why don't you just become a teacher? This is silly." And it kind of hit me. I'm not doing that. I had stayed home with my kids. I had part-time jobs. I had taught a little bit of college as an adjunct, but the thought of really, honest to goodness, going full-time teaching wasn't a thing I was going to do. And then all of a sudden it was a thing I was going to do.
I'm glad you became
Me too. I never thought it would be so life-changing for me. Forget about you guys.
Yeah.
This is life-changing for me. Every year, every day. And I thought I wanted to teach college. And like I said, I've done a little bit of it. And teaching high school is nothing like teaching college. Teaching college is about the subject, and teaching high school is about the people. And that is not a thing I ever thought I wanted. Or that I would want to do. But I was wrong.
Have you ever thought about teaching kids in elementary school?
Not really, not recently anyway. I think high school's my place.
I think so too. What influenced your teaching style? Because I know a lot of teachers here either teach off of PowerPoints or they hand out worksheets, but you write down your notes every day. You write down your notes, and at the end of the period, you assign us some homework, or you don't. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Since I didn't ever go to teacher school, really, I don't know. I just sort of taught myself. It's just what made sense to me. I don't know why I teach the way I do. It seemed the thing to do at the time. I don't know.
Moving a little bit away from that, I know that you like listening to songs on repeat. When did you realize that you liked doing that?
I don't know. I liked hearing you say that you do that too.
Yeah.
That made me feel better. Because I would notice, okay, so I'm old enough that this was not ever an option. You know,
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it wasn't like, let me pull out all the catalog of music there is and program what I want. But I would find that I would spend half of my time, what should I listen to? Well, what should I listen to next? It's like, just put something on and then go about your business. So, I don't know, but I don't, like, if other kids are in my room, I won't do it. Like, I don't want them to know that I just listen. I don't want to hear about it from them. Didn't we already hear this song like 10 times? So I totally don't do it in public. But I will do it for you because you said you do the same thing.
Thanks.
I appreciate that.
Are you listening to any song? Have you been listening to anything recently?
I don't think I've listened to anything new recently. A thing I do like that surprises kids what I listen to, because like one day they'll come in and it will be show tunes, and another day they'll come in and it will be rap music, and another day I'll come in and it will be, gospel or something, and another day it'll be 21 Pilots, and so it is funny to see kids like, yeah. I don't know that I've come up with anything new recently because I've not had a lot of time.
I don't know if other people who listen to songs on repeat experience this, but when you find a song that you like, does it just do you feel like a click in your brain? Where it's like, oh, I really like this song.
This is going in the like pile. I can listen to that for hours. I don't know that I've ever experienced it that way, but I can understand that, yeah.
Do you know besides me, do you know any other people who?
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's other people who closet listen to songs on repeat like me and won't tell anybody. I don't know.
Anyone else that likes, and then you said that you find standardized tests calming. I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. But, well, not standardized tests, but just tests and quizzes given in the classroom. I don't know about standardized testing.
I used to love taking tests.
Yeah. Do you know anyone else?
Huh. I don't know. Like, I know my children generally do well on tests. I don't know if, I can't say for sure that they enjoy it. No.
And when you take, before you take a test, or used to take tests, were you stressed about it, or was it like, oh, I'm going into a calming?
Yeah, it wasn't really stress. It was like, ooh, I get to take a test.
Yeah.
So to get your teaching license, you have to take a bunch of tests, and there's like 4 different subject tests, and they're on a computer. You go into a a testing center where you empty your pockets and they take away your electronics and then you sit at a computer and do tests. And I did all 4 back to back because that was fun. I just rocked through them. When at some point when school got really hard in grad school, I dreaded tests because those were tests I was not ready for. That was not fun. All the fun went out at some point when I wasn't prepared.
Oh, yeah.
My worst testing experience was a class. I sort of got some of the stuff, and some of it I had no idea what was going on. And the professor told us, well, when you come in, I'll let you choose, like which topic you want to deal with. And I'm like, this is great, because I know this one pretty well, so I'm going to learn that pretty well. And I went in, and he holds out to me 4 pieces of paper, like pick a card. I'm like, oh, no, this was not pick. You didn't think it was going to be a blind pick of topics. I am dead meat. And I believe I was dead meat. It was not the topic I was good at.
Do you remember the topic?
No. That whole thing is... I've locked that away. Yeah.
Wait, did you go to Northwestern for?
For grad school. For my second grad school. Out of 3. So I did my undergraduate degree, and then I started grad school for a year in a program that was not a good fit for me. And then I transferred to Northwestern and got my master's degree, was working on my PhD and left. And then years later, I went to yet another school to get my teaching license.
Where did you get your undergraduate degree?
John Carroll University in Cleveland, small Jesuit school.
Did you ever find your people there?
I did find my people. I married one of my people from there. And my husband's reunion is coming up in a couple weeks, and we're going. We still are very much in contact with a lot of our friends that we met there. My roommate from college still lives in Ohio, and we see her every year at Christmas. So yeah, I found people there.
You married one of them?
I married one of them.
What's he like?
Wow, what a loaded question.
I don't know how I
I don't know that I can answer without crying, particularly today.
Oh, right.
I like him. He's a swell guy. As a student, he was a lot different from me. He was from a different background than me. He was an English major. One of the first interactions we had is I tutored him in calculus. But he's funny and he's generous, and I'm going to quit talking before I start crying. That's not, whatever. I'm good.
Do you have any favorite memories from teaching here first?
So at some point I started writing down my stories because there were so many of them. And I don't write the whole story, but I have like a list of topics, like a list of titles, And the first year I did it, I don't know if it was my first year I was teaching, but the first year I did it, at the end of the year, I had like 3 pages just of titles of stories, of things that had happened. So on the one hand, I was so glad I did it because I would never remember all that, but being able to look back at it, oh yeah, I forgot about the time that he did that. Oh, I forgot about the time that So now I do that every year. So I've gone from paper to my phone, but I have files on my phone that are just, adventures, different dopey things that have happened. There are a lot of great stories. All my favorite ones are ones I probably shouldn't tell. Oh, yeah. I have loved my time here and loved the kids and the people I work with, and yeah, there's lots of great stories. Give me a topic, maybe I can do better.
Topic,
I'm not supposed to be putting you on the spot.
I don't know, any titles from this year?
Where's my phone? Oh, it's not with me. Darn. I'm going to go get my phone?
Sure.
Okay, hold on. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so I got my list. I have 7 full screens from this year. Just of titles of stories. Oh,
Dates on them?
no. I can't be that organized. I figure the more pressure I put on myself to get it done exactly right, the less likely I am to follow through with it. You know, if I make it too cumbersome to do, then I just lose the system. So these are, some are just lists of, you know, the day that all these different people came in. You know, it's like, this is a day that 10 different alumni walked into my room. I love it when kids have stories. This one is a kid who comes in and talks to me all the time. Never had him in class. Comes in and talks to me. And it was a story that he told me about when he met another kid that I like. Just the whole story of, I love that. So anyway, that's a story. I can't tell you his story, but that's a fine story. One of the alums came in, texted me, I like integrals. And I'm like, okay, did you really just say that? I'm writing that down, because she was not a fan at the time she was here. Just interactions of other people with, the time we went out to we took Coach Gladden to Hollywood Grill. That was a thing. The time Miss Murphy and I drove to Springfield to watch an alum play baseball. And then he asked us, well, you're going back to Chicago. Would you mind taking me back with you, taking me home? Fine. He ends up driving. He ends up almost getting a ticket. That's a fine story. Didn't get a ticket. He had not really ever driven on the highway before. It's like, oh, it's easy. We'll teach you. So on the way back, it's like, okay, this would be the point where you slow way down. Because that's, yeah, that was a good story. The kids who came in and learned to juggle one day, that's on here. Oh, some stories I can't tell you. Anyway, lots of interesting, there's a lot. Oh.
How do you feel?
I really like to hear that. Although sometimes it makes me cry, you know, because that's me. I like, because I think math gets a bad rap from a lot of people. At some point it gets hard, it doesn't make sense, and somehow it's okay to not like math in a way that it's not okay to not like reading. You know, people say, I'm not a math person, much more readily than they would say, oh yeah, never really learned to read. You know, nobody would say that, but it's somehow okay to not know math. And, you know, oh, some people are math people and some people aren't. Sure, it's easier for some people than others, but I don't know, I think anybody can learn it. So I like hearing that kids decided maybe it's not that horrible.
Good math teachers throughout.
Yeah. Makes a difference.
So you mentioned once before that you double majored, or what did you major in?
Math and computer science.
Why computer science?
I don't know if I even remember. We had to take math majors had to take one computer science course anyway. And I took it, and I liked it. It was very logical. It was very objective. It was, it fired the same neurons as math did. oh, this is cool, except people will pay me to do this. This is good. So I liked it. It was another thing that I was good at, that I found easy and logical and really enjoyed doing. So I figured, well, I probably have time to fit this in my schedule, so I did. I enjoyed it, although that was a long time ago, and things are a lot different than they were. I don't know how much I know about it today, but no, that was fun.
Do you know who's teaching? Have you found out yet who's teaching AP Computer Science principles?
No, we have not had the discussions about who's teaching what.
Okay.
So, what about if I could teach computers, and I'm pretty far away from it? I mean, they have changed. Computers change faster than anything. Calculus has not changed since I was a girl. I could bring in the same textbook I learned from and teach you out of it. That is not the same with computers. So even though I would enjoy it, it would take too much for me to get up to speed for me to be good at it or effective at it or efficient at it. But I would enjoy taking that class.
I'll tell you how it goes next year.
Would you? Thanks. I look forward to hearing about it. I also think that new engineering class sounds cool.
Oh, yeah.
Engineering principles. I would like to sit in on that class too.
Do you know who's taking it?
Don't. There are so many classes in this school that I would love to take. I would like to just have a free period and just go learn more stuff. I have never lost the urge to learn new things, and there's so much I still don't know. Oh.
Something that attracted you to the school when you were looking for openings?
I had Mr. Shively went through the same program I did, so that was my connection to it. He reached out to people graduating from our program and said, oh, we have an opening in math. Is anybody interested? And my friend and I both applied, and they hired her. And then she decided that just because of what was going on in her life, that she couldn't take this job. She was going to be moving too far away, and just things were changing for her. So after they offered her the job, she said, I really appreciate it. I can't take this job, but you should absolutely hire my friend Diane. She's really good. And so they called me and ended up hiring me. And then my first year, I was out for a long time with an illness, and she came and was my sub. She was my long-term sub. I figured out, I asked Mr. Shively, I said, you already know her, you already offered her the job once. Would you like me to see if she wants to do it? So I think it helps to have, for a long-term sub, to have somebody who can actually teach it, as opposed to somebody who's just sort of, marking time and giving other people's assignments, So she got a taste of teaching too. That was fun.
Did she continue with that?
She
develop that taste?
She didn't. Partly she really liked the job she had. Everybody who went through our program were all adults who were doing other things and who were going to go into teaching as a second career. And she is still in her first career at this point. She did not follow the teaching route. Funny how things turn out sometimes.
Yeah. I've always had teaching in the back of my mind.
Yeah?
I teach like you, Miss Lowe. Oh, I'm about to cry.
Why should I be the only one crying?
I don't know, that urge becomes stronger. I look a little, and then when I see Adolfo in this young's room, I don't know.
Maybe. You're still a baby. You have a long time to decide.
Yeah.
But if it's a strong urge, do what you can to, exercise it. Find people to tutor, find people to That's, oh, one of the first times I taught, I forget exactly what the circumstance was, but we had to get up and teach a class, and like not give a presentation in a class we were in, but for some reason we had to go and teach it, like write an actual lesson and teach it. I was pretty shy, and I got up there and did this lecture that probably sounds much like what I do now. And then I sat down and was like, who on earth was that who possessed my body? Because that could not have been me who just stood up there and told jokes and, you know, explained things and was whatever for 45 minutes. Really, the first time I did that, when I sat down, I was like, who was that? It was nothing like, That was fun.
When you teach this, do you still think that?
No, now I know it's me. I still don't believe it some days, but I have come to accept that it is in fact me who's doing these things.
I find it amazing that you always find the time to talk to students after school.
I don't know, I think it's important. And sometimes I don't actually have the time, but I'm doing it anyway. Sometimes it's just a bad idea, but I still do it. I don't know.
But I mean, it all works out.
So far.
In here?
I do. I was saying the other day that this is my first full-time job, and I think it will be my last full-time job. I think when I leave here, it will be because I'm done.
Do you plan on retiring?
Eventually, I will wear out. I can't keep this up forever. Yeah, for a while, I'll be good.
Did you, do you still talk to some of your friends from high school?
Wow. I still think about a lot of them. I've mostly fallen out of touch with most of them. Sometimes when I'm home visiting my parents, I'll run into somebody. For years, we, would send Christmas cards, or we were good for a while. My husband, on the other hand, I know his high school friends. They still visit regularly. When everybody turned 50, the year that they were all turning 50, they all went out to dinner. Like, I know them, I know their spouses, I know their kids. He's been much better at keeping up with people.
Has ever realized, well, I'm sure that they did realize, liked life, did they ever, what's the word for this? Did they ever realize that and were like, oh, let's buy you more textbooks about whatever?
When I was little, we took a lot of long car trips. We would drive cross country. And we would get bored because we did not have all these lovely electronic devices. It was us and the scenery and us and books. So when I would get bored, I would ask my dad to make up math problems for me. And we, for an hour driving down the highway, we would, okay, do this, okay, multiply it by 5, okay, now add 12, now raise it to the whatever. And I'm sure, he's driving. At some point, he has lost track of what's, it's like, all right, let's throw in a multiply by 0 to clear that out, yeah. So they knew I liked it. What has been fun for me as a math teacher is watching my kids learn math, and my youngest is crazy good at math. When he was 3 or 4, he taught himself how to carry when subtracting in front of my eyes. It was hilarious. Because he would also, oh, give me another problem. We'd go through stuff. And then I'm like, okay, let's try this. So what if you try to subtract this from this? Gave him one, and he's like, oh, well, that's a 10, so you could, I'm like, I am not going to scream, I am not going to say anything, but holy cow, did you see that kid just learn how to borrow right in front of me? Yeah, he's something else, that one. When he's 5 years younger than his next oldest brother. So his brothers were in high school learning logs. He's in grade school at some point. We taught him how logs work because we were talking about it and he could follow along. He's going to be an interesting one to see.
What is he currently doing?
He's graduating from 8th grade next week. He's still a little one. But he's somewhere, I'll find it for you. He wrote a little quiz for fun on little note paper.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Have you seen his little Roman numbers quiz? And I love that it's got a spot for your name and a spot for the score and sections and directions. This is a child who's taken a test or perhaps done a worksheet before. That's the one. He's the thing. He got an award for math at the 8th grade the 8th grade assembly. Nice. As my parents would sort of just generally encourage me, good job, keep it up. But being a math teacher, I can inflict math on my children. On our car trips, we're going to talk about why the radius of a circle. I can make them think about actual real life math problems, and they play along with me. They're very nice. So.
Have you ever? Do you find math therapeutic?
I do. I don't do a lot of I do more teaching than actual math these days, but I do.
There was this one time in 5th grade. I was just trying, I don't know, I was, for some reason, I don't know, I just wrote out large numbers and divided them all by 2.
To calm down?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And my classmate, the one who did it, it was another person who didn't hit me, walked over and asked, why are you doing math problems when you're crying? And I said, I don't know, I found it relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it, I get the same feeling when I'm doing the pre-calc homework you assign, which is why I completed first after school ends in Miss Lowe's room.
Mm-hmm.
I find it relaxing. Yeah.
Good. I love that there are people like us.
Like us.
Yeah.
I think there's one song, there's one 21 Pilots song that reminds me of the Run and Go, called Not Today.
Okay, I don't know if I know that one.
It's on the What Do You Face album.
Okay. I'll go look for it.
For your time. Thank you for sharing a part of your story with me.
It's been a pleasure, Donna. Yeah, how many are you supposed to have? Like 5?
Yeah. You can edit, right?